a while since I've uploaded any videos uh, for the main reason that I just wanted to focus on shooting pictures and not have to worry about producing and editing videos. In the meantime, what has happened that I got an email from the Army saying that they were sending me back to Korea, where if you follow this channel, you know that I spent 3 years here from 2013 to 2016, which is where we started the channel, heydon'tshoot.com. And so now I'm back here, and I'm in my barracks room, and I just wanted to say hello to everybody out there and let you know that I'll be producing new videos and uploading new videos. The trouble right now is that due to the coronavirus restrictions, excuse me, and for the time being, we can't leave the Army base here. We're not allowed to leave Camp Casey, so my options are going to be very limited to what kind of photography I do in my spare time until that they let us off base, which hopefully will be pretty soon. So, but anyways, I'll give you a quick little tour around my barracks room, which is a lot more shabby than the one I had before. Not quite as nice, but hey, you know, it's the Army. So what I got here, I got my closets here where I got my uniforms and my clothes. Obviously, the bathroom is kind of just whatever. It's got the basics, a shower, sink and a toilet. Unlike the last room I had when I was here, I do not have a kitchen. I just have a little refrigerator and a microwave, and that's it. The last time I was here in Korea, I was lucky enough to have kind of like a little mini kitchen, but not this time. Here's my bed, kind of drab. The walls are drab. I mean, this room is definitely in need of repainting. It's not going to happen while I'm here, so hopefully I'll get some posters or something that I can put up on the wall. And let's take a look at the camera kit that I brought. Now, I posted a blog on felixgphoto.blogspot.com about which camera gear I brought with me to Korea. But let's take a look at what I brought. I literally only brought with me what I could carry on the plane in one bag. And this camera bag I've had for a long time. It's a Sony camera bag. It's the biggest one they make, I think. But it's been such a great camera bag, and it's so well made. I think I've had this bag for like 5-6 years. There's no tears in it or anything. It's got a huge compartment for the cameras and lenses. It's got a really big compartment up top, and it's got a laptop compartment. So I think this one's called the LC BP3. I think LC something BP3 Sony. But if you just search for like large Sony camera bag, that's the one you'll find. All right, so what camera bodies did I bring with me to Korea? It was kind of a tough decision because obviously I love all my Sony mirrorless cameras. I've got the A6500, I've got the A7R2 and the A7 II, which are really fabulous cameras. I really like them a lot. But because I'm not just going to be shooting, you know, as a hobby here, I'm going to be shooting for the Army while I'm here. I definitely needed camera bodies that were really robust, tough, strong camera bodies. And of course, the Sony A-mount bodies are just that, right? They've got that really sturdy, big, fat magnesium alloy chassis. But more importantly, the rear screen here swivels all the way around. So unlike the A7 series, right? So when I'm riding around in a Humvee and I got all my gear on and stuff and bouncing around, I just turn that screen around. I don't have to worry about it breaking. But also the A-mount bodies, they're really robust, and I just feel a lot more confident using them in austere, dirty, dusty environments. So I brought my A99, which is if you follow, I do a lot of blog writing. I haven't been updating a whole lot recently, but I actually bought this Sony A99 last time I was in Korea, and I ended up selling it with all the lenses, and the guy I sold it to contacted me and offered to sell it back to me for just an incredible price. I couldn't pass it up, and so I actually bought the camera back from the same guy I sold it to, and I'm happy I did, because the Sony A99, the sensor in here, it's a beautiful sensor. It just takes really great images, and I knew I was going to be shooting more stuff for the Army, so I wanted that big, firm, sturdy body, so I brought that camera back with me. Then this one is a little newer. This is the Sony a77 II. It's an APS-C sensor, so it's great when I'm shooting sports or stuff from a distance. I get that little extra reach, that crop with the crop sensor. Also magnesium alloy body, also with the swivel screen that flips around. And then let's talk lenses then. So, both of these are 24 megapixel, so the same megapixel size, a little slightly larger image on the 899. But yeah, so I'm happy I brought both of those. The performance on these is great, and like I said, real robust, durable bodies that I'm going to be able to carry around with me in a military Humvee and not have to worry about them getting damaged, or, they can handle it. All right, so lenses. So let's start with the one I have on here already with the Sony a77 II. It's the Sony 16 to 50 f2.8. Now this was originally a kit lens that came with the APS-C A-mount bodies, and it's an APS-C sensor A-mount, but it's like the best kit lens I think ever made, because it's a f2.8. The optics on it are great. It's got a zoom lock on here, autofocus manual focus button, which I really like a lot, real quick to switch back and forth. And the optics on it are really great. It's a really nice piece of glass on here. So this is a great everyday walk around lens. It's a full frame equivalent focal length of 24 to 70 millimeters, 24 to 75. So yeah, great lens. This is the one I anticipate just using a lot. All right, so you got that. Now let's stick with APS-C lenses. Put the cap back on. Okay, so here is another APS-C lens for the Sony a77 II. This is a relatively inexpensive lens. It's a 35 millimeter f1.8. So you're getting roughly a 50 millimeter equivalent on the APS-C sensor. It's not expensive. It's a cheap, inexpensive lens, but it takes surprisingly great photos. And where you'll see a difference is in the build quality. You've got the mount here on the back is plastic instead of metal. It's all plastic, actually, all the way around. You won't find a bit of metal on the lens pretty much anywhere. But I tested it out, and it's a super high quality lens, takes great pictures, and this is a great 50 millimeter equivalent for when I want to just walk around with a prime lens or low light on the A77 Mark II. So that's one of the lenses I brought. And actually, those are the only two strictly APS-C lenses I brought, so I might as well get to the full frame lenses. All right, so everyday walk around lens, mid-range zoom lens for the A99 is this vintage Minolta 28 to 85, which is going to be roughly, what, about 42. I take it back. Why am I still talking about APS-C sensor? I'm going to be using this on full frame. So 28 to 85. It's a f3.5 to 5.6. No, f3.5 to 4.5. So should be okay in, semi-low light conditions. But what I like about these, and the reason why I brought this instead of my Zeiss 24 to 70, are two main reasons. One, I really didn't want to bring my super good, expensive glass to Korea this time, especially if I'm going to be shooting for the Army. Not that the Army's not worthy, but I don't want to bring my $1,000 lenses over here and have them get damaged when I'm out in the field or riding in a Humvee. Those are my quality lenses that I use for, hey, don't shoot in my photography and, that sort of thing. So I brought this Minolta 28 to 85, and it's a fine lens. I love the look of the images that these vintage Minolta lenses produce. And it's extremely well made. It's pretty much all metal. You feel it's a nice heavy weight to it. It's going to withstand the rigors of shooting out in the field for the Army. It's also a macro lens too. So, in my spare time, if I'm shooting any kind of insects or flowers or any kind of macro photography, it is a macro lens as well. So that's my everyday walk around mid-range zoom lens for the A99. It's a full frame lens, 28 to 85. I also brought a couple of my mainstays, more Minolta glass. This is a prime lens, a 50 millimeter f1.4, and this is a really great lens, man. This is one you should definitely pick up, even if you shoot E-mount, A7 series or something like that. Pick one of these up with an adapter, because for the price, you really can't beat it. You can pick one of these up for like 120 bucks, 150 bucks, and it's a 50 millimeter f1.4, and it just produces really great images. I mean, the quality of the glass is just super outstanding. I'll give you a good look. Just a beautiful 50 millimeter lens. And the f1.7 is just as good as this. And it's like you can pick up a Minolta 50 millimeter f1.7 for like $40, something ridiculous. So I brought this as kind of my, 50 millimeter street lens, f1.4 low light, right? If I wanted to go a little wider, I brought the 28 millimeter Minolta f2.8. It's not quite as sharp as the 50 millimeter, not because of the larger aperture or anything, just for whatever reason, the images come out a little bit softer than the 50 millimeter. But this is a nice wide angle lens, so if I'm doing landscapes or something like that, or even wide angle street photography, nice little 28 millimeter lens. I originally wanted to bring the 20 millimeter for a little wider shots. I was limited to what I could fit in the bag. I fit a lot of stuff in that bag, but I was still limited. And so this 28 millimeter is like a lot smaller, like half the size of the 20 millimeter lens. So I sacrificed a little bit of wide shooting for compact size that I can fit in the bag. So the widest lens I actually brought with me is a 24 millimeter full frame equivalent, is this 16 to 50 APS-C sensor lens. So 24 millimeter is as wide as it's going to get for me the whole time I'm here, unless I buy a lens while I'm here, which I'm not trying to spend too much money while I'm over here. I'm trying to save money while I'm over here. All right. The last zoom lens. So actually, so this is the Sony 70-300. It's a f4.5 to 5.6. What I like about it is it's lightweight. It's you can feel it's made of plastic mostly, although the lens mount is metal. The quality of the glass on this is really outstanding. It's a really great piece of glass. However, at the last minute, I wanted to leave this one at home and bring my Minolta beer can. I think it's a, what is it, 70 to 210, the Minolta beer can, which is a constant f4 lens. But I forgot to switch it out, so I'm not going to say I'm stuck with this one, but I would have preferred to bring that Minolta because it's just a little heftier build. So still a nice piece of glass. I'm just looking because I see a couple of specks of dust, or that might be just be reflections. I don't know. And then lastly, I've got two prime lenses, portrait lenses. Here's a telephoto 135. This is a really beautiful lens. It's I think it's a 1.8. Again, it's a, oh no, this is a 2.8. So this is a Minolta 135 millimeter 2.8, really nice portrait lens. I've used it a little bit, gets good reviews, really nice piece of glass. I've got a UV filter on it. It's got a built-in lens hood. And then this is an inexpensive Sony 85 millimeter. The build quality is exactly the same as that 35 millimeter. This is the Sony DT APS-C 35 millimeter. They look almost the same. This one's 85 millimeter, but it's full frame. Build quality is the same, inexpensive, plastic mount on the back, not metal. But when I repurchased the A99, I did not want to drop another $1,000 on the Zeiss 85 millimeter 1.4. So this was like, I don't know, 200 bucks or something like that, maybe even less, maybe like 180. So that's the one I brought. And, you know, when I'm back home shooting portraits, I'm shooting on the E-mount. I do have my Zeiss Batiste that I shoot on my E-mount cameras. So those are the lenses. But let's see what else I brought. All right, so I didn't just want to limit myself to those two camera bodies. They're pretty big. Like I wanted to bring a mirrorless camera for when I go do street photography in my spare time. So I ended up bringing the mighty little Sony RX1R2. And of course, as you know, this when this camera first came out, it was a $3,200 camera. It's 42 megapixel. It's got this beautiful fixed Zeiss lens, 38 millimeter. This might be the best camera I own in terms of image quality that comes out of it. The only problem with this thing though is the battery. And I did a quick little review on this camera, and it uses the same tiny little battery that is the same battery you use on the Sony action cams. It's tiny, and so this battery drains really quick. Forget about shooting video with this thing. If you shoot video with this, that battery will be done in like 2 minutes or less. It's crazy how fast the battery drains when you're shooting video. But for photos, you'll get a couple hundred photos out of each battery. So I just made sure that I brought plenty of extras. So I've got 4 batteries, 5 total just for this one camera. And when I go out for a day of street photography, I'll bring all 5 batteries. I'll probably only go through 2, but you never know. But so yeah, this is something I wanted to bring, the RX1R2, for when I go out and I do photography in my spare time. This is actually even a great camera for landscape photography at 35 millimeters. And so I brought, of course, my UV filter for it. So when I'm doing street or landscape photography, slap my ND filter, not UV filter, my ND filter, so I can get some nice long exposures, sunsets and sunrises. And then, of course, I brought a nice assortment of filters for the A-mount. So these are all, I think these are 67 and 72 millimeters. Let's see, what size are these? 72 millimeters. So these are going to fit the 16 to 50, which is the 24 to 70 equivalent. And then if I want to do long exposures, or I need an ND filter for the full frame, this 28 millimeter and 50 millimeter take the same size filter as the ND filter I brought for the Zeiss camera lens on the RX1R2. So I'm pretty much covered for filters there. Let's see how many batteries I brought with me for my A-mounts. So I got 1 battery in each camera plus 6 extras for a total of 8. So that should take care of me in terms of batteries. Accessories, the only 2 accessories I brought were the little shotgun microphone that goes on top of the Sony hot shoe mount. This is a great little microphone. It's the Sony EXYST something or other. Where is it? Oh, ECM XYST1. Really nice $100 microphone. Comes with a little wind filter. And then I don't shoot much flash photography, but if I'm going to be shooting for the Army, I anticipate doing some indoor ceremonies. I really only need a fill light, and plus I was limited on space to what I could fit in the bag. So I brought this little pop-up Sony flash, which it's actually quite a convenient little flash. I mean, I'm not going to be shooting weddings or anything over here, so I didn't need anything too fancy, but it fits on top just like that. When you're ready to use it to turn it on, you just pop it up. And it makes for a nice, you can bounce it off the ceiling. It's got the bouncer direct. So you push this level up and it'll points it to the ceiling so you can bounce it, or direct is just that flash points straight ahead. So it takes 2 AAA batteries. You're not gonna get, it's not a workhorse flash, but for what I anticipate what I'm gonna be doing here, it was a good choice, and look how small it is. So it fit right in my bag. And last but not least, almost last but not least, I brought my Mavic Mini drone. Look how small this thing is. I wasn't going to bring a drone, but I started looking at some footage from the last time that I was here with Turner. And man, we got a lot of nice landscape video and just really dramatic video with the drone. I used to have the massive, that DJI. I think I had the Phantom 2 when I was here. But look how small it is. So it's so small, the controller and the drone, I fit it in my bag no problem with an extra battery. extra extra props. And then, of course, the little screwdriver to replace the props. So hopefully I get off base and can start shooting some videos around Korea. I brought 2 film cameras with me. So this is a cool little half frame camera. Actually, the 2 cameras I brought with me, I brought them because I thought they were both broken. This one is a metered camera, and the meter is powered by a little selenium cell. I don't know much about it, but I guess it doesn't need very much power. So this draws enough power from the sun somehow to set the light meter. So I was trying to get it home, and the light meter wasn't working. When you look inside the viewfinder here and you press the shutter halfway down, it'll show you either a little red dot, which means it's not exposed correctly, or a green dot. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get it to turn green. But the other day I was messing with it and messing with the focus ring here. So the focus ring has only got 3 settings. It's got like a little diagram of a mountain. That's for shooting stuff more than 6 meters away. It's got a little diagram of a group of people, which is for photos 3 to 6 meters away. And then a little diagram of just a person's head, like a portrait that would be like 3 meters away. And that affects the exposure, the light meter. So once I messed with that, I got it to turn green. And so I think this is still working. And this is kind of a cool little camera because it's a half frame 35 millimeter film camera, which means it takes 2 pictures on each piece of 35 millimeter film. So you get 72 pictures. And when you develop it, they come out side by side. So sometimes you get some cool little results with that. It's a fun little camera. It's the Agfa Optima Parat. And then this one I brought. So I brought these cameras that are broken because in downtown Seoul, there are camera repair shops that the people that work there are really experienced and super affordable, like compared to getting something repaired in the States. So this camera, let me get a coin. This should be an easy fix. This should be an easy fix because all it is in the battery compartment kind of like fell apart. So I just need to take it to a camera repair guy. Hopefully the same guy is there that was here before. So like this piece here is broken. This black rubber piece, this is not supposed to come out of the battery compartment. It's supposed to like be fixed sitting in there. So the meter in the camera is not working. So I'll have to get it down to the camera repair shop, and hopefully the guy can fix it for like 30 bucks or something like that. Now you can actually use the camera. I could still take pictures with it without the light meter. It does have manual settings, but they're not really super easy to read. They're not really super convenient to turn. This is meant to be more of like an auto exposure. And I don't have a light meter with me. I didn't bring the light meter, so I want to take this and get it fixed anyways, and that's why I brought it with me. So hopefully we'll be able to get to Seoul at some point. Right now right now we're restricted to base, and even when we're not restricted to base, Seoul, the city, the capital of Korea, is off limits to us. So I wouldn't be able to go down there if I wanted to. I brought everyday walk. I brought the big Sony bag, and then just an everyday walk around street photography bag. My computer setup here. This is my Dell XPS. This is my good video editing computer. It's got like the latest Intel i7 processor, and I upgraded it to 32 gigs of RAM, so it handles 4K video editing with no problem. And then I started down. I've got for photo editing on this computer, I've got Luminar and Topaz Adjust. Both of those are AI programs, meaning each of those programs analyzes the image and makes adjustments to it. And then my other video editing, my main computer, my other video editing program, this is a Sony Vaio I've had for quite a long time. It's Intel i7 processor, and it's got 8 gigs of RAM. So it handles stuff pretty good, but it's you know, a little bit on the slow side sometimes. But all my programs are loaded into here. For photo editing, I use PaintShop Pro, and then I also have a Lightroom on both of those. And then I have a full suite of Topaz Labs photo editing stuff on that. So there you go. So I am here in Korea. I'm looking forward to getting out and shooting photos. I'm not allowed to leave the base, like I said, but hopefully soon. I'm all set. The only thing I'm really missing is a tripod. Right now I've got my cell phone mounted on my little mini Manfrotto tripod. Well, I can show you. Right, this is such a versatile little tabletop tripod. I use it for a lot of stuff. And this is the Manfrotto cell phone mount. But I'm missing a full-size tripod, which I did not bring with me. Here at the Army base, at the PX, they do have Manfrotto tripods. They're about 120 bucks. It looks okay. I'm hoping to get off post and buy one, like a carbon fiber tripod that's lightweight. And so there you go. So, wow. This is the first time I've done a live video on Hey Don't Shoot. But basically, I just want to say hello from Korea. The channel is not dead. I'm going to get with my graphic designers and do a new little video intro. And hopefully start bringing you guys some new videos soon. And, oh, the last thing I want to mention before I say goodbye. So, Hey Don't Shoot has basically been a vlog. It's been, most of the videos have just been about Turner and I's, you know, photography outings when we go out and do stuff. But now that I'm here again and with not a lot of gear, so I can't really do gear videos or reviews, I'm going to focus more on technique and teaching. And so that's my idea, like teaching you guys how I shoot landscape photos and street photography and tips and things of that nature. So, you know, if there's something that you want to see, something you want to learn, something I could help you with, just leave a comment below. And let's keep Hey Don't Shoot going. Let's keep the channel going. I'm certainly planning on doing that. And now that I'm back here in Korea with a lot of time on my hands and I'm not going anywhere, it's good for me too, because it keeps me busy and gives me something to do. So, hey, thanks for watching and supporting the channel. And I look forward to posting more videos from right back here in Korea, where it all started. All right, you guys, take it easy. Let's see, how do I turn off the live video? There it is.